What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to 3 Star Draw. I am Down South 77, and this is an adult collector channel where we usually talk about G.I. Joe. We're not talking about G.I. Joe today, we are talking about Star Wars today, because it is what? Boom! May the power of the Force. This has been a fantastic month. This was such a great idea. I hope everybody has been enjoying it and enjoying all of these other content creators, big and small, who have these awesome ideas and awesome styles, awesome takes on going back and reviewing these figures. There are people that have made these videos look like they are the intro to a DreamWorks movie. There are people who have opened up some of their figures that they've actually kept all this time that have a lot of sentimental value to them, and they decided that this was the right opportunity to finally let those figures breathe. And that takes some doing when you've got something sealed that has some sentimental value and you decide to open it. It's got to be for a good reason, and this was good enough. So kudos to everybody that has been doing these videos. I have really liked them. So if my plan works out, hopefully you just finished watching my first review on Lando in General's gear. When this idea was created, as I mentioned in that video, I was actually there when this idea was formed, and I said, well, if we're doing this, I want to do Lando. And I went ahead and I got 2 Lando figures. I got General's gear and I got our regular Lando. As when somebody says Lando, how you first picture him in the blue cape from Empire Strikes Back. It's either that or hanging on a peg at Ollie's, whichever one comes to mind first. Lando is my favorite character in Star Wars. When I was a kid, it was Luke, but as I got older, I realized that Lando is a far more realistic character and complicated character, and I was probably a lot more like Lando than Luke, kind of a anti-hero, bad guy turned good guy, I guess. I don't know, whatever you want to, similarities you want to draw there. I like Lando, so let's leave it at that. So I did go ahead and I picked up the Lando here from Empire, the orange cord Lando. I went ahead and picked this guy too up, and as you can see, I also, turn it the right way, I also had this one signed, and this one is signed Billy D. Williams, Lando Calrissian. This deal's getting worse all the time.
This deal's getting worse all the time.
That's what I said. I already said it. So we're going to go ahead and get this guy out, but not only did I get this Lando, I'm going to tell you something about Lando that you probably didn't know, and something about Empire Strikes Back that you didn't know, unless you have done deep dives and you are a hardcore Star Wars nerd. There's some stuff about Lando and Empire that's not really public knowledge. I mean, I guess it is, but you got to kind of dig for it to find it. And I unearthed it while I was figuring out which figures I was going to get, and going back and getting some of the reading over some of the lore and brushing up on some of the fill-in stuff. Like in my last video, I called him Landarius instead of Landonis, and that's because I don't think we ever knew that his name was actually Landarius. See, I did it again, Landonis, until Solo. I'm not sure if that was earlier in canon or not, but Landonis Balthazar Calrissian III. I actually knew somebody a long time ago named Landarius, and that's why I keep doing that, which it's funny because he wasn't much of a Star Wars fan. Anyway, so going back to Lando, there's something that I found out, and I thought it was really, really interesting, and I actually managed to get this. So the story goes like this. Back when they were writing and filming Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back, they got a bigger budget for Empire because the success of Star Wars was just off the charts. It's what coined the term blockbuster, because it blusted blocks. It's early. And so Empire had a bigger budget, much more wide scope, and obviously we knew that we were going to get a third one while Empire was being done, while Empire was being written and all of that stuff. It was done knowing that there would 100% be a third one to finish that trilogy out. But during all of that concept and during all of that, the writing and coming up with different scenes, there was a lot of stuff that got left on the cutting room floor and stuff that never made it into the movie, even stuff that we didn't see get into the movie during the special editions that come out in 97. There was so much original stuff and concepts. We've seen the McQuarrie art, and this is something that kind of goes along the lines with that. So one of the concepts, one of the scenes that was omitted from Empire Strikes Back and has kind of been stricken from all of the lore was that in Empire, when Vader arrived to Bespin, the Cloud City, there was a whole interaction that deepened Lando's character, and it was completely omitted from everything. And basically, it goes that Lando would not cooperate with Vader and refused to betray Han, and he would not do it. Instead of just finding another way and killing him, Vader decided to make an example out of him, and he actually cut off Lando's right arm with his lightsaber. And of course, it is Cloud City. It's Bespin. It's a whole city. There's medical facilities, and come to find out, Lando had his own medical suite, I guess, prepared in case maybe there was a coup. They didn't like the way he was running the city. Who knows? But Lando had his own medical facility with his own Bacta tank and everything. And when Vader realized this, he's like, well, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut off his arm. And we'll put his arm back on in the Bacta tank. And then he'll cooperate. So that was actually what happened in that original draft. And Vader, been through quite a few medical procedures himself. He knew that this could be done because they actually had improved Bacta tanks since Obi-Wan let him turn into fried chicken there on the beaches of Mustafar. So that's what he did. They've got medical facilities. You never know what's going on. There's probably a robot brothel in Cloud City, so you never know what kind of stuff might be floating around there. So anyway, back to the story. So he puts Lando in his Bacta tank and gets his arm reattached, and that is when we see Lando begrudgingly, I guess, betray Han. Like, he played it off well. Lando was a hell of an actor. He was a gambler, and he took a gamble on this whole plan. And it was kind of like we see this later in Marvel, where Doctor Strange knew the only way was to let the bad guy win, but he wasn't really going to win. So he knew that he was going to end up trying to help him and wanted to save Han before they got away, but the plan got kind of ruined, and Boba Fett flew away with Han in the block. We know how that went. And then Chewie almost kills Lando. You know how it ends. You've seen the movie. So what had happened was they had started putting stuff into production to produce some of these other scenes, and they wound up getting cut from the movie. So budgetary and whatever, it all got nixed and archived, and some of that stuff never came out. So flash forward to Power of the Force 2 and the massive success that Star Wars had been. What they wanted to do when they brought the line back was they wanted to go back and they wanted to do some of these things and bring them out, kind of like we saw some of the McQuarrie figures actually get done later. They had already started designing some of this stuff, because when the line started taking off, Lucas had always wanted to do the special edition trilogy for the re-release for the 20 year, and some of this stuff started going into pre-production, and I don't know if there were licensing rights with it, or it just wasn't cost effective or whatever, but they were going to add some of that stuff back in, and it never happened. But they did start producing some of the toys in the prototype stage, and I have got a hold of one of them. I'm not going to tell you how. I cannot give that away, but basically I run across a man in Bangladesh while I was researching all of this. He had called me one day and something about a car warranty, and I had Empire playing in the background, and he heard it, and he was a Star Wars fan, and we got to talking, and it took a while because I couldn't really understand him, but I understood most of what he said. And we got to talking, and he told me about this, and I was like, I'm gonna have to do some research. Well, let me get back to you. So all he needed, we exchanged phone numbers, and I gave him my social security number. I don't know why he needed that, but that was the only way he'd do this deal. So I said, let me get back to you. So we got off the phone, and I got on the interwebs, and I found some rumblings of this actually happening. So I got on the phone with this guy. I called him back. I was like, yeah, okay. He said, well, I've got one of the prototype pieces from that set, from that scene that was going to be in the movie, and they struck from it. And he sent me pictures that looked legit. So I asked the guy what he wanted for it, and we worked out a deal. Like I said, I'd already given him my social, so he'd already done his research, and he knew that I had money in my bank account. But he asked him if he wanted any trades or anything. He asked what I had. I mentioned I still had some Beanie Babies in the basement, and this guy was a huge Beanie Baby fan. But I still have some that have the tags on them. I had that Princess Diana one and the Freedom one, and he really was all about that. So turns out I sent him $300 and about 40 Beanie Babies, and he sent me this prototype set. So I'm going to show it to you guys. It has never been shown before. It's never been revealed. I may even get in trouble for this. I know, but you know what? I don't even care, because it's May the Power of the Force, baby, and it's Lando. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the figure and take a look at Landonis. And then I'm going to show you guys this set, because it is sweet, and no, it is not for sale. I went through too much already to get this.
You got a lot of guts coming here after what you pulled.
Oh, hey, hold up. Just calm down. All right, just calm down. It was a joke. The people liked it, right? It was funny. A lot of work went into doing that. You have no idea. Oh, you're kidding. All right, you're starting to creep me out. So, all right, look, we got Colt Cape Lando variant over here for backup in case anything goes sideways. Over here, we have the card that I take so much care in getting these guys off of, and I'm going to show you that technique with this one so it can try to preserve that signature. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to do that right now and get Mr. Landonis out. All right, guys, all you have to do is you take your figure here, and this one will be easy because this corner, you can see this corner is already a little bit bent. So you just take and you peel that back just a little bit, and that's all you got to do. And look, did not even mess up the signature. So we're going to take that one and we're going to put that one right there for the time being. And we're going to go ahead and get Lando out here. His cape is separate, does have a back peg there. Right, grab him, go ahead and pop him out. Oh, you don't even have to take the tape off. These things just bend right out, don't they? There. Bye-bye. All right, let's go ahead and check Landonis out there. Not a bad representation of Billy D. Williams. Looks just like him, as you can see. So he's got this big swooping V-neck collar here, these big old bell-bottom pants. It was 1980 after all. And arms, I just wanted to smell some 1995 plastic. I keep trying to do ankle articulation and push his ankles, so he actually stands up pretty good. So he does have, we keep saying 5 POA on these, but most of them are 6. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. He's going to stay at the YMCA. I wonder if they had a YMCA on Cloud City. And check out his pistols here. Why is that? I hope that's tape. All right, so he does come with this heavy blaster that we see come with most of these guys. Does look pretty much like the Stormtrooper rifle. It's not exact, but it's close. It's like they got a laser sight on the bottom of it. That's pretty neat. I don't know. There's no peg or anything for this to go into. I'm not really sure what that is. It's not like they can hold it like a handle or with a handle. I'm so used to classifieds now and everything else. I keep wanting to turn the wrist. So it does go in there like so. Does go in there like so. So there's Lando. double fisting like the Wild Wild West. Let's go ahead and pop his cape on him. Does have peg there. Get his cape on him. He looks so slick in that blue cape, didn't he? Lando knew how to dress. Lando was a fashionista, and man, he just was smooth as silk, buttery smooth. That's pretty much all there is to him, guys. Pretty much just blue. He's blue. He's like 4 shades of blue, and that. It's not my fault. Let's see if we can get him to stand real quick, because these guys are crazy trying to get him to stand. A lot of them stand pretty well. Some of them do not stand at all. So let's go ahead and put him side by side with his future promoted self. I didn't even take the cape off, a Colt Cape Lando. Go ahead and kind of look at them side by side there. Does looks like the same head sculpt. Different people working at the paint factory that day. I do like this General Lando because it shows him, after he gets a little bit of promotion, gets a little bit of status, and he's come up in the world. But you just can't go wrong with Scoundrel Lando. This will always be the classic Lando for me. It's a great figure. If you've got POTF 2 figures, you got to have him in your collection. You can get him in all of these action poses like this. And like this. And like this. Just fantastic posing on these figures. And I do have this Lando slightly bent over because he is he's a little bit hungover. He had a rough night last night in the old city after they blew up the Death Star. He flew back to Bespin, and he just got hammered drunk. He was in the front row at the Fig Duran concert, and you got hammered drunk. His cape needs some sticky tack. I'm probably going to shove some sticky tack in there before I put him on his shelf. So this one, great figure. So let's go ahead and we're going to set Lando aside here. Landonises. I'm going to set them over on my shelf right here. I've got to make a little bit of room to show off this this prototype that I got. I'll take those down in just a second, because I'm going to have to move the camera up just a little bit to get the full presentation. So I'm going to actually pause it just a second while I readjust the camera, and I will get ready to show you guys this prototype of Lando's Bacta tank in Cloud City. Okay, so this does actually come with a couple of accessories I haven't mentioned yet. It has an exclusive disarmed Lando figure with it. I just wanted to put him there and show that. And it does come with the thing that actually lifts him up and puts him into the Bacta tank. So I'm going to go ahead and let's go ahead and show off this prototype here. Never been seen, as far as I know, on YouTube before, on any kind of TV before. This is an early prototype of Lando's Bacta tank. It does come with special Bacta juice in there. You guys can see that. So has these electrodes on it. It comes with the fancy lights. Like I said, this was an early prototype that they built for it. And what happens is, the other accessory that it comes with is it comes with this little claw, and it just comes down and picks up the arm and drops it in the Bacta tank, and then it just comes down, picks up Lando like this here, and drops Lando in the Bacta tank. And you can leave him in there for a few minutes and pretend that he's in there getting all fixed up. This is Lando's personal Bacta tank, so as you can see, there is no clear glass or anything, because you don't want to see Lando in there. You don't want to see him in there getting his arm put back attached. But this special Bacta tank juice that goes in this tank, it numbs his pain, so to speak. So Lando does not feel any of that coming back being put back together. So you got to be careful with this thing now. And then you reach in there and you fish around and you pull Lando back out. And no, he ain't done yet. So we drop him back in there. And that's it. That's how you play with this Lando. Like I said, I got this thing for a steal. I got it for my, my Beanie Babies I had left and like $300 in my social. So I think I got a good deal on it. And so I'm happy to show it off here to you guys for the first time. So there we go, y'all. Bespin Lando, Power of the Force. May the power of the Force be with you. And if you guys would like to see how the main component of the Bacta tank was built, and you would like to see the signing of the card, please stay tuned. And I hope you all guys all have a fantastic rest of your May the Power of the Force. Hit that like, that subscribe. And this is 3-Star Draw. Billy D. Williams, Lando Calrissian. This deal's getting worse all the time. Signed, Lando Calrissian. Bam!
This deal is getting worse all the time.